Oh, yeah.
Are you getting that kid welding yet, or? Got a little welder and
No, yeah.
well, kind of been struggling for a couple of weeks. You've been in really
You know what I mean?
her lumber, her other thing in the yard.
Yeah, he got pneumonia in a good long. On the other side,
They're not that big a lumber. Just to fix it.
No.
7:30, we'll call the regular city council meeting of July 18th to order. We do have a quorum. Let's please stand and pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All individuals are asked to either silence or turn off cell phones, pages, or other electronic devices that may disrupt the meeting. Approve the agenda as posted in accordance with open meeting law, and here and place all agenda items on the table for discussion with the removal of 6G from the consent.
I have, also Chris Engem is here, so we can move him to item 5C in the presentations. And then for closing, instead of adjournment, it would be, we need to set a recession of the meeting until July 25th at 11:50 a.m.
July 25th,
Yep.
11:50. What's the wish of the council? It said
Make a
corrections.
motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Got a motion by Alderman Hercog, second by Mayor Zylka for approval. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Approval of the minutes. A copy of the minutes for the special work session meeting of July 5th, 2016, and the regular city council meeting of July 5th, 2016 are enclosed. Which the wish of the council on the minutes?
Move to approve. I'll second.
Got a motion by Councilman Knopfler, a second by Councilman Gushik to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Approval of the bills, approve checks 94472 through 94596 totaling $229,959.60. Mr. Gushik?
Turn to page 5. Just stay. Page 6. Page 7. Page 8. Page 9. Page 10. Page 11. And page 12. I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
Second.
A motion by Councilman Gushik, second by Councilman Lozgren to approve the bills. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Wards, donations, presentations, proclamations. We got ward preliminary breath test. Office of Traffic Safety. Chief?
We received two preliminary breath test instruments from the Office of Traffic Safety. We use those for DWI enforcement. We completed a grant and received a grant, so it was nice to get those. So that's about it. We're not looking for any recognition or anything. It was a statewide grant that they had done. We just had to fill out a survey, complete the survey, and I think everybody that did receive the instruments. So basically, it's just to receive the instruments.
We need action, we do it in a regular
You can take action.
action? Okay. Do I have a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion to accept the breath test, please.
Got a motion by Councilman Gushik, a second by Alderman Hercock. Any discussion? Yeah. Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Donation, golf donation, accept, extravaganza.
Yeah, the Little Falls Golf Course Extravaganza Committee would like to present the city a check for the recent tournament we had.
I'll make a motion that we accept the donation from the extravaganza.
Thanks, Leif.
I'll second that.
Got a motion by Councilman Hanson, second by Councilman Gushik to accept. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. If you want to accept it and have a picture or some words?
If they want to get together. So now let's get a picture of the group
Sure.
that attended.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Where do you want? Come right up here. Right there. No. I'll fill it out later.
Thank you.
You're the one
Thank you.
getting,
One of you people, just that way I can email later to get like the names.
These are.
Oh, okay, good.
Write them down.
I can just,
For the council's information, the donation from the Gulf Extravaganza this year is $12,587. That's what they raised from the event. Pretty cool.
Thank you all very much.
thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
The Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities update, Chris?
Should I send podium?
Yes, please.
I just want to thank the council for having me and trying to fit me in. There was some miscommunication about times, but that was my bad. My name is Chris Hensel. I'm an attorney and analyst for the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities. As you know, the CGMC is an 88-city organization that works primarily on LGA and property tax, economic development and land use, annexation, transportation, environmental regulation. Here today to quickly go through what happened last year at the legislative session, and also to give a brief preview of what's to come. Before I launch into what happened last year, it's helpful to see where we stood at the beginning of last session. As you know, we came off of a session that had no tax bill, had no comprehensive transportation package. And on top of that, this is a shorter session in which the legislature usually accomplishes a bonding bill. So not only were there things left on the table from last year, there were more things to do in a shorter period of time. The session started out with a great fiscal, a great financial starting point. There's a $900 million surplus. However, if one were to take a look at where those projections were outside of that first year, where there's that $900 million surplus, it actually looked like we were in the red come 2020 and 2021. So leadership was a little nervous, and the coalition was especially nervous that we were going to spend too much money, and then that cities would have to bear the brunt of some cuts in the future. CGMC's goals remain that we wanted to return LGA to its 2002 funding level. We wanted to pass Greater Minnesota economic development programs, such as those listed there. We wanted to, of course, help pass the comprehensive transportation package. And I'll mention this was a huge priority this year, but our wastewater and water infrastructure funding, which we were aggressively pushing for the second year in a row. So LGA, as you know, we want to get it back to a 2002 funding level. That means $45.5 million. The Senate supported this, only they had this increase over 2 years. The House looked at that and they said, no thank you, we're not going to fund LGA $1 more. In fact, we're going to cut it for 3 cities. They said it's first-class cities, but coincidentally, Rochester was left out. So that is an $84 million cut to LGA. And if you make that sort of cut to LGA, to those 3 cities, you lose a lot of political support. And when 66% of funding goes to Greater Minnesota, and you lose that Minneapolis-St. Paul support, then the program is in danger. And then it doesn't, it might be Minneapolis-St. Paul this year, but when another party's in power, it might be, Little Falls or Glencoe. So we thought that in order to keep the political support behind LGA, we very much opposed that. And we were instrumental in helping to pass 75 plus LGA resolutions across the state. We had a statewide press conference call that was well covered in the press, locally and statewide. We had 16 plus LGA editorials. We met with leadership. We held regional meetings where non-CGMC and CGMC members could come and really articulate to their local legislator why restoring LGA is so important. So after all of that, we moved the House from this $84 million cut to a $20 million increase in LGA. And you can see that the House backed away from some of their more ambitious cuts. We agreed with them that there are some cuts in their bill were great, but some of them made the budget picture in those out years, as I mentioned, look a little scary. That $20 million increase would have meant a 4% increase on LGA. Greater Minnesota continues to receive most of the LGA, period, and would have received 56% of that new money. And contrary to what you may have heard, the share going to Minneapolis, St. Paul, Duluth continues to fall year after year. You can see how LGA would have played out in the graph on your presentation there, and there's a city insert, and this is also in your slides showing where Little Falls would have fell. It would have been up to $2.7 million in the red there for the Senate proposal, but instead it's at current law in the purple. So that is unfortunate. But as I mentioned at the end, I think that progress, it sometimes takes time, and I think that if we're able to move one particular party that's driven by a few legislators in suburban districts to move from an $84 million cut to a $20 million increase, I think that is at least some progress for the future. There are other taxable items that we had hoped for, such as the workforce housing tax credit that's been supported by both the House and the Senate. That did not make it in because of the low budget targets. And also, as I mentioned before, we wanted a cut to the statewide CI property tax. That's the state version of that, not the local part of the CI tax. And we wanted that at $100,000 exemption for property. And if you were to look at how Little Falls plays out in that, that would have meant a $1,029, what they pay now on this slide. That would have gone down to $299, which is a huge tax cut for a low-value property in Little Falls. You can see there the point being that for a high-value property in Little Falls, it would have meant a huge amount in terms of the percentage of property tax paid. But I think the thing to keep in mind on that is that when they want to phase out the statewide business property tax, it gets extremely expensive. It's $1 billion every year going forward. The thing that this only costs $80, and that has a greater impact on these rural small cities as opposed to the Minneapolises of the world that would, when you're trying to pay off the IDS towers, the property tax, it gets to be pretty expensive pretty quick. So we were trying to keep that $100,000 level low. The tax bill, as you know, was vetoed because the governor thought that there was this error in the tax bill. It's up to debate whether that error could have been fixed by a letter, which is what House Republicans said, or whether we need to have a special session. But it's just back and forth, and whether we're going to have the special session. Looks like as of today, one's going to be happening here at the end of August, which is great news. I think that it sounds like what is on their agenda is pretty substantial, so I hope that goes forward. The 2015 session, as you can see here, we really pushed hard. We led a lawsuit against the governor's MPCA and with other organizations such as League of Minnesota Cities. Last year it was pretty controversial. We were called out in the papers, and how could they go against MPCA? Well, this year the first thing the governor did was introduce a bonding bill that had as its centerpiece a $167 million wastewater and water infrastructure part of that. So we quickly went from the bad guy on wastewater to, gosh, look at these people, the league and us, doing great work to get funding for wastewater and water infrastructure. And that was something that was consistent from the Senate and the House and the governor. I mean, we were looking at the House bonding bill today, actually, and we were looking at, wow, it's a pretty low number. It's not like exceedingly low, but I think like a fourth of that bill is just water and wastewater infrastructure for greater Minnesota. And that just shows what sometimes being the bulldog gets you at the legislature. And I think on wastewater and water, we're trying to work hard for that. And you can see how that played out. I'm trying to quickly breeze through this because I know I'm kind of butting in line here. But again, we pushed for the BDPI program. This is a program we created. The governor had $21 million for that program. It's a program that delivers infrastructure to businesses around town. As noted there, that's something that did not pass, but there are 3 policy changes that make it better for rural Minnesota. So again, even though sometimes it looks like stuff doesn't get done, well, sometimes things do get done that don't cost a lot of money. In this case, costs 0 money. That will help deliver infrastructure to rural Minnesota businesses. In the end, that would have been at $12 million, but as I noted, it was vetoed. Expanding broadband to greater Minnesota. So I printed off something in your packets that I don't normally print off for rural cities that I visit. and that's a state broadband grant map. And this is something that having us at the Capitol watching what the heck is going on is somewhat useful, because if you look at Little Falls wasn't how it looks on that map. Little Falls was a donut hole. We kept talking about this donut hole, and we discovered this at the beginning of the session, actually because of you guys, because of the way this looked, and it did not look good. So all of Little Falls basically would have been excluded from this broadband grant program, and we thought, oh gosh, if they have poor service, in which under that grant program the city is defined as getting poor service, that they should have access to this program, because it shouldn't just be for cabins and farms in the most rural parts of the state. It should also be for businesses in downtown areas like Little Falls. So we worked to get that fixed, and that was fixed. Unfortunately, the House Republicans added a provision to allow big providers in the area to challenge grants to areas that they promise will be able to serve in the future. That was somewhat unfortunate, but I think expanding eligibility and then seeing where that plays out in the future is something that will be helpful. As I noted, transportation was a muddle once again. Even though it was a muddle, there's agreement this year that there's a $600 to $700 million per year need for 10 years on transportation. And before this year, there hadn't been this sort of agreement that how much money do we even need to spend. Now, at least folks understand that we need to spend that much money. In the end, the House thinks that we need to spend surplus money going forward on transportation and not obligate ourselves or raise taxes. The Senate thinks that we need to have new revenue going for transportation, and they just cannot come to an agreement. There are all these last minute things on, looking at that today, we have a video of this actually at our CGMC conference on Wednesday. And there it is just ugly to watch, to see everything going down via text message and via people running across the House floor and Senate floor, trying to make these last minute things that they should have been working on all session. And because of that, things didn't come through and everything blew apart at the end. The bonding bill, as you know, failed to pass because of this light rail provision that would have allowed Hennepin County to pay for their own light rail. Folks said that that wasn't a good deal. So in the end, things didn't pass. So I hate to make you guys depressed, but there's, as it says, no tax bill, no LGA increase, there's no bonding bill, no transportation package. However, I think that there was progress on LGA, as I mentioned, going from $84 million to a $20 million increase, just moving that body to understand how important LGA is. I think there was progress made on environmental issues, where we went from being this aggressive outlier to being a leader for wastewater and water infrastructure and getting funding for those things. And it really showed how well media can work to pressure legislators, I think. We were very successful this year on doing that. Upcoming events, obviously this week there's a summer conference in Austin. There's candidate forums where we hear from your candidates. We deliver to them information about the issues that matter to Greater Minnesota. They are then on the record as either agreeing with us or not agreeing with us, and we hold these forums to hold them accountable going forward. We have a fall conference coming up in Alexandria, and hope to see you guys there. Do you have any questions? I hate to fly through that.
Chris, I
break
would
that
just-
speed, but
I would just say I hope everyone reads through this information, because it is very valuable information, and I appreciate what the coalition does for Greater Minnesota. And I know how it swayed the pendulum on some of the things you discussed with us this evening. So thank you for all the work that you do for us, and it's greatly appreciated.
thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
On to the consent agenda. Animal Control Report, June 2016 received. Building Department Report, June 2016 received. Engineering Internship, Jesse Roach, authorized. Fire Department Report, June 2016 received. Morrison County Attorney's Prosecution Report, May 2016 received. Police Department Report, June 2016 received. Public Works Department Report, June 2016 received. Wastewater Treatment Facility Report, June 2016 received. Water Treatment Facility Report, June 2016 received. What's the wish of the council on the consent?
I'll make a motion to receive and authorize the items from the consent agenda.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Hanson, second by Alderman Hercog, to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Public hearings and lettings, got a couple of lettings. Generator, Police Department, award.
If you recall, in 2015, the power actually went out at the Little Falls Police Department where we recognized the need for a backup generator at that location. So we went out, we received quotes for a new generator as well as the mechanical work to get that generator operational. The low quote for the generator and the electrical work came from Holden Electric out of Baxter in the amount of $19,800. The mechanical work was from Central Mechanical LLC out of Little Falls in the amount of $5,486. During the 2016 budget process, we did budget $20,000 for the generator and the improvements needed in order to get that backup generator for the police department. So tonight, we are asking the council, both the chief and myself, that we award the low bids to Holden Electric as well as Central Mechanical to get the generator operational at the police department, and those will be charged to the equipment fund.
What's the wish of the council?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Guzek, second by Councilman Lothagen for approval. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Restroom improvements, City Hall. Greg?
Yes, we worked with Kevin Anderson to get drawings pulled together for restroom improvements here at City Hall. We requested 5 quotes from local contractors to do the improvements. We did receive 1, well, 2 of them said that they were interested, took a look at the plans. One of them provided us a quote in order to do the improvements. The loan quote was from Central Mechanical LLC in the amount of $11,240.27. City staff will be doing the demolition fixtures for the backing for the fixtures, excuse me, and tiling of the 2 restrooms. So tonight we are looking at awarding the low bid to Central Mechanical in the amount of $11,240.27, and that will be charged to the equipment fund.
What's the wish of the council?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Guzek, second by Mayor Zylka for approval. Any discussion?
This would be a winter project.
Okay. Anyone else? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. New business resolution 2016-40, call for public hearing, adopt final assessment roll, public improvement 374. Greg?
In front of you this evening, we've got the resolution for public improvement number 374. As we talked a little bit in the work session, the project is projected to cost $861,215, with the total assessments coming in at $323,355. If you recall, in order to bond, we have to assess more than 20%. We do meet that threshold. We are over that. The city will be picking up the remainder of that cost, which is $537,860. Through the process here of pulling together the assessment roll, I looked at what the actual cost the city paid to install various components, compared that to what we are proposing to assess the various residents. If you look at the screen behind me, we've got water service. The city actually paid the contractor $2,150.91 for each water service. We're proposing to assess the residents $1,200 for that. The water main came in just under $81. We are proposing to assess that at $30. Sanitary sewer is $26.56. Again, we're proposing to assess at $20. And the list goes on. So I guess what we're looking at, the preliminary or the draft assessment roll that you have in front of you, where we are providing value to the residents, which is consistent with their original assessment that they were given back in March when the project was ordered in. So tonight we would be looking for the council approval to go ahead and schedule the assessment hearing for, I think it was August 18th, if I remember correctly, the second meeting in August for the public improvement 374.
Do we have the correct date, I guess? 15?
15th, sorry. Yeah.
15. What's the wish of the council on resolution 2016-40?
Make a motion to adopt it.
Second.
A motion by Alderman Hercog, second by Councilman Hanson to approve resolution 2016-40. Any further discussion? Hearing none, resolution, call the roll, please.
William.
Yes.
Hurkak.
Yes.
Liljegren.
Yes.
Zylka.
Yes.
Hansler.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Bushik.
Yes.
Knopfler.
Yes.
Carries.
Resolution 2016-41, call for public hearing, adopt final assessment rule, public improvement PIR sidewalks.
This is the project, or sidewalk project. If you recall, we do a third of the town each year to see if there's any tripping hazards throughout the project. On the replacement areas, we do assess the property owners 100% for the replacement. They are responsible for maintaining and replacing the sidewalks that are broken. You'll notice on the screen behind me, we are assessing just under $8,800 for those improvements. The city is picking up the remainder of the cost, which is just under $4,700. The city's component is where we are either removing sidewalks that go to nowhere or improvements at corners or against city property. So tonight we'd be looking at, again, calling the public hearing for the assessments sidewalk improvement. That is also for the August 15th meeting for the council.
What's the wish of the council on resolution 2016-41?
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Knopfler, second by Alderman Hercog for approval of resolution 2016-41. Any discussion?
How many people actually did it on their own? Was there quite a few?
I believe there was 2 this year.
Just 2?
Yep. Last year we had quite a few more, but this year there was only 2.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, resolution, call the roll, please.
Hurkak.
Yes.
Liljegren.
Yes.
Zylka.
Yes.
Hansler.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Bushik.
Yes.
Knopfler.
Yes.
William.
Yes.
Carries.
Anyone got anything under announcements?
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I would just like to say that it's not by coincidence that the council is all wearing blue this evening. Mr. Chief Shermers, this is, as a group, we decided to do this to show support for the police department, Minnesota State Highway Patrol, the Sheriff's Department, and the conservation officers that serve our community. So I hope it's taken in that manner, that you have our support. We sympathize with what's going on around the nation. This is not a political statement. This is a local support of the police department and law enforcement officers. So,
Well, Mr. Mayor, I want to thank you for that. It means a lot to have your support here. We try to do our best to protect the community and to serve its residents and keep Little Falls a safe place. So it means a lot to us here. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else under announcements? Anybody got anything? Greg?
Just wanted to mention to the council, at our last meeting, we did approve the purchase of the property north here. It looks like we will be closing on that in the early part of August, so that's moving forward.
Anyone else? Hearing none, we will recess the special council meeting on July 25th at 11:50 in council chambers.
Thank you. Thanks, Chief. Thank you.
Okay.
Good night. Greg.